The Patreon pick this week, as requested by Tutbot, thank you, was the 2011 film Rango. Which, Nico, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, sure. I'll give a little rundown of it. So, Rango and his brothers Morgan and Virgil have left their gunslinging ways behind them to settle down and start a business in the town of Dirt. While they aren't looking for it to find trouble, trouble soon finds them when they become targets of the ruthless cowboy gang. Now, together with Rango's best friend Doc Holliday, the brothers pick up their guns once more to restore order to this lawless land.
Yeah, that was more or less accurate. Fun fact, the voice actors wore Western costumes to get in character.
Oh, there we go. I feel like I did see some, like, behind-the-scenes stuff in, like, the commercials for Rango back in the day of, like, Johnny Depp being his wacky self in a cowboy costume.
I feel like Johnny Depp's voice does not sound like it would come out of his body.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Rango for a second. Like, I just can't see this man coming out of this lizard here. Alright, so boys, how'd we feel about Rango?
I think it was okay. I think the idea behind it is okay. I don't really have a fucking ton to say about this movie, to be completely honest. I think the artistic direction is good. I think it looks really good for its time. It's 13 years old. I still think it looks great. I think some of the character designs are fun and silly. I think the plot structure is pretty generic. I don't like Rango as a character. I think it's really fucking annoying. I don't like the way they portray his character arc either, because there basically isn't one. I don't like the stupid forced romance. It's dumb. There's no progression. It all just coalesces in the end for no reason. I think it's a whatever film for me, personally. Comedy didn't land super well. It's whatever.
Summary there for you guys. Western animation. I can't stand it. Where's my anime?
Literally, if the main character was a 400-year-old vampire lolly with massive tits, maybe this movie would get higher than an F+ for me.
I like Rango. I think it's a fun take on Westerns. I would like to compare and then contrast it with Overlord.
Overlord?
Yeah. Where one of my big complaints with Overlord was the characters were very tropey, and it didn't really utilize tropiness in a way that makes sense to even have it in the movie. This film, on the other hand, has extremely tropey characters, but it very much makes sense because the entire point of the movie is to play with the tropes of Westerns and, you know, either lean into or subvert them in fun and interesting ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Rango quite a bit as well, because, like, this is a film that I think, didn't we all say we saw this as kids?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a film that, you know, as a kid, I didn't really like, but I think it was just because it doesn't really feel like a kid's movie. Like, a lot of the humor and dialogue seems to be aimed more towards older audiences, and as a result, most of the jokes just, like, completely flew over my head upon my first watch all the way back then. It isn't to say, like, you know, there's, like, some uber gritty and serious Western like Tombstone is. It just has a lot more fun about it than your average Joe just, like, trying to be a fucking play hero or whatever, you know? And, like, some of the humor is still aimed towards kids, which is, like, my least favorite part of this film. You know, we still have, like, you know, those stereotypical scenes that happen where it's like, oh, fucking someone farts or something funny happens when a character says, that was awkward, which I definitely could have done without. But, you know, for the most part...
They literally said that.
Yes, exactly.
Like, oh my god. To be fair, that wasn't a played out thing yet in 2011.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was.
I feel like it was the height of being played out back then.
Well, true. Well, it was the height of being used, and then in retrospect, we were like, that was played out.
That was awkward, I think. Yeah, the characters are definitely fantastic in this film, as Tanner was saying. I was a big fan of them. There's an immaculate amount of detail it's put into, like, the animation, great character designs all around. The lighting and textures are fantastic in this film. As Jackson was also saying, it's definitely still holds up to this day. Like, there's also a shitload of guns and swearing in this movie, which is not something I entirely expected. And then just, like, also characters just dying, just being murdered right in front of our eyes, like characters fucking exploding, or like that dude who got drowned and shit like that.
There is a lot more death in this film than you'd expect from a kids movie. I'll give it that. I think the snake design is pretty neat too. I think he's a fun guy. I don't particularly like the way they portrayed his character in the end, but I think his design is pretty sweet. He has a very intimidating feeling enemy.
Yeah, for sure. Like the Jake's presence is just like built up throughout the entire film. Like, he sounds like this really intimidating, menacing figure, and then it has that fantastic payoff where like his first confrontation with Rango, he just completely exposes him for the liar he is. Which unfortunately does mean that we do get a liar revealed trope in this film, which I could have also very much so done without. Like maybe if they were like, they expose Rango for the liar that he was, but like as he's walking away, like we have like the fucking lady or like the little mouse girl be like, but Rango, you are a hero, like you did all this cool shit, and he's like, nah, I don't know who I am, I'm sorry, and then he walks off. Like that could have been something different at the very least, but no, it was just your basic ass bullshit that I fucking despise. Alright, so do we have anything else to say about Rango, guys?
No.
Okay.
I'm out of ideas.
Yeah, I liked it and it looks good.
Yeah, this is a good looking film. It's not for me. I wish if it was like so focused on Rango as a character, I wish they handled his character better. I think that was honestly the worst part of the movie for me. He was really fucking annoying and he had very little character progression.
I wholeheartely disagree on both of those points, Jackson. I think that Rango was a good character. I enjoyed him.
I think our subjective liking of a character valid. You can like a character. I didn't like him. I thought he was annoying. I didn't think his comedy was funny.
But like you saying, his character progression there was like nothing there. Like that's
yeah. This is Rango's character progression, right? He's a fucking weirdo whack job because he's some pet that's been locked up all his life. He gets thrown into some new world that he doesn't know anything about. He's then bumbling around, being fucking just handed W's constantly.
Dude, it's Mr. Magoo, but as a Western.
I don't care. From sheer dumb luck, he progresses literally nothing as a character until he gets called out for lying all this time. And then he gets some magical fucking fairy MacGuffin that tells him how to solve everyone's problem. And then that's it. And that's his character is just that he got called out and then he gets a MacGuffin and then nothing happens. And he gets the girl in the end. There was no progression for that either.
That's not it though, Jackson. That's not it. He does learn to be a real cowboy legend, dude. He stands up to Jake the Snake, dude. Like before we saw him try and stand up to it, he couldn't pull the trigger. He couldn't take the shot. But then we see him. He's willing to do it at the end of the film, man.
Yeah, I don't think that one scene buys anything for me or fixes any of the other problems with his character, personally.
This is exactly how I describe, like, Napoleon Dynamite, like, trying to be as dismissive and reductive as possible.
I can see where you guys are coming from, except for the character progression thing. I think that I don't understand that viewpoint at all. I think there's very little progression in it. Mostly just because even if I was to agree with Nico on that point, it all happens in just like one fell swoop, and I can't agree with that style of character progression.
Dude, this movie is all an allegory for gay conversion therapy.
Speaking of gay conversion therapy, let's hear what Dylan thought about it.
Alright, so this is going to be my review of Rango, and this is a movie I'd seen a couple of times. I remember being younger. I don't think I really appreciated this movie, at least, from, I guess you could say, a creative perspective. It has been a while since I've actually seen this movie, but I think that, I don't even know if the comedy in this movie lands necessarily. I don't feel like it had to, though. I liked how quippy that this movie was. You had kind of your cliche classic, like, cowboy banter where they were kind of showboating or like, just had these one-off lines or whatever that made no sense, just for the hell of it. Some of them, if you, again, because I didn't appreciate this movie when I was younger, some of them, the lines just don't mean anything, which adds, I guess, that little bit of humor to it. But, no, I think the animation style is very, like, creatively done. I think it looks very nice for the year it was released. I believe it was like 2011. And yeah, the animation just really, really good. Plot moved along pretty well. There's a bit where it gets to the middle, the end-ish part, where it slows down a little bit, which, I could give or take. But aside from that, just, characters we learn to care about. This is another one of those movies, a little side note. This is another one of those movies where it could just kill people off casually and not necessarily make a big deal out of it or really expand on it, and you blink and you miss kind of thing, where like one part that comes to mind is then they're in the big wagon chase scene, and this guy's like, "Oh, is that all you got?" And then the giant rock pillar collapses on top of him. Not a huge deal. I just think it's funny when movies do this kind of thing. But I think this movie was very charming. I think, like I said, the animation was very beautifully done. The voice acting was very good. And, yeah, aside from the plot having its weird pacing moments in the middle, the end part, I thought this was a fairly good movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So I gave Rango an A+.
Dude, I'm totally straight now.
Honestly, based takes from Dylan there. Speaking of based, his rating, A+ for Rango. Solid rating there, Dylan. Fantastic job. I'm going to follow that up with an A- personally. Jackson, what are you giving it?
I give it a B-.
Insane. You're a fucking psycho.
I think it's a good-looking movie. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it. Some of the comedy was funny, but yeah, that's really all about it. I think it was pretty whatever otherwise.
This is the most you two have ever disagreed on a film.
You're probably right. This is easily the most I feel like we've skirmished during a review.
What about Dragon Ball Super Broly?
I don't know if you were really, fighting that hard about it.
I don't think I was. I still think you're a fucking psychopath for your rating on that. D+? Are you fucking crazy, Jackson? You piece of shit.
I'm based as fuck for that rank.
He only likes anime with girls in it, Nico.
For sure. If Goku had big tits and was a 400-year-old dragon lolly, maybe I would have liked him more.
There was your rating, by the way. I don't think we heard it yet.
Yeah, I went and gave this movie a
based.
Fun fact, Jackson's the only one who rated Rango lower than Tombstone.
I think Tombstone had a decent amount going for it. I want to watch Tombstone again. That was a relatively early movie, and I feel like I probably didn't give it as much of a shot. I think I mentioned it during the review, but I absolutely was not paying very much. I was not paying very much attention during that movie. I probably would like it a lot more on the second watch. I'm a
complete fucking liar. I just ranked Rango lower than Tombstone.
There we go. Immediate disapproval. Wait, okay, let me fucking go over the ranks again because I wasn't paying very much attention. Nico, you gave it an A. Tanner, you also gave it an A.
No, I gave it an A-.
Oh, you gave it an A-. Okay, there we go. That's why I confirmed. Don't give it an A+?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and that puts it at, shockingly, an A- overall.
Holy cow. Tied with Tombstone.
Whoa.
Here we go. They're basically the same movie.
Yeah.
Nico, did you do the bit? I wasn't paying attention, to be honest.
Yes, I did do the bit. My summary of Rango was just Tombstone, but I replaced Dr. fucking whatever's name with Rango. Whiter, that's his name.
Yeah.
Did Tanner notice? I also wasn't paying attention.
No, I did notice.
There we go. I'm proud of you.
Didn't I comment on it?
Hey, that's just Tombstone. I don't fucking know. Replay.
No, I said very accurate or something like that.